guys, welcome back. Happy 4th of July. It is the 4th of July today, and I'm actually off work, thankfully, in retail. It's kind of tough to get the day off, believe it or not, but somehow lucked out. So, it's kind of a cruddy day here in Washington. It's not that great. It's been raining off and on, the clouds are moving through, the sun, amazingly, has been out for a couple of minutes now, and I had to readjust the lighting on my camera, and actually reshoot the video because my stupid autofocus with the whole time is really awful. I keep forgetting to do that. So today we're checking out my Bar-10. This is my finalized version. I've got all my upgrade parts in it. It's working really, really nicely. I'm quite happy with it. And I'm just going to talk about this a little bit today. I know you guys, 4th of July, kind of expected a big explosive gun, but no, I'm going to check out something a little bit quieter today. So let's kind of start with the outside of this and kind of move from there to the inside. And it looks like, actually, my cat wants to be in the video. She's really unhappy right now, so I'm going to put her down. So externally, just the basics, obviously. I wrapped the stock in paracord. It's actually measurably more comfortable than the rough, kind of grainy texture I put on the body of this. The body, I kind of did my usual spray paint pattern. If you guys watched my old how to paint a gun video a long time ago, that was just how I did it. Obviously, there's a lot of ways to do it. I started with actually a sand texture paint and painted the whole body. And then put stripes of brown and tan, just the Krylon, I believe it's called, camo paint. And actually after that, I just put some leaves down, sprayed the green over it, and it turned out pretty well. It actually kind of made a veiny texture on it. I've got a good picture of that right here. Really, really turned out well, actually. I'm quite happy with it. Now, internally, I did a few more things of this. Most people, they tend to like completely gut their Bar-10 and just use like the body and the barrel, obviously. And that's about it. I tried to preserve a few things at least and kind of go from there. Originally, I did buy a handful of parts from e-bike, and I ended up sending like half of them back. They just weren't compatible, even though they advertised they were. Their tech department doesn't like to email me back about questions, so that's how that goes. So I actually had to wait a couple of extra weeks to get this finished. So I ended up buying the Angel Omega Zero trigger. I ended up saving like between $50 and $100 from buying the laylax. I know the Angel probably won't last as long, and even I've had mixed experiences with that brand. It's e-bike's custom brand. Right now it works. Really nice light trigger. It's not adjustable, sadly, but I'm really happy with it so far. And that particular kit actually came with a piston. That piston's so-so. It's kind of like the red one. You can probably find it on there. It runs about $50 or so, and it's got the teardrop kind of front head on it. The first shot I fired, actually, the head like split in half. So the rubber quality was trash. So I ended up removing that, and there's a little peg on there, so I hacksawed that off, sanded the whole front down so it's nice and smooth, and actually glued a sorbo pad on there. And so I'm running that right now, and I replaced the O-ring as well because it was getting a crappy air seal. So it's getting a great air seal now with an aftermarket O-ring, and it's shooting really, really nicely. It's shooting actually about 600 feet per second, which is right around the cap of where most field limits are. So out at the fields I usually play at, they're at 600 FPS, so I'm right on the edge there. And this is a brand new spring, so it'll settle down over time, probably drop 20 or 30 FPS. Be somewhere in that nice 575 area, which is perfect. Aside from the trigger, I did install an Angel custom bearing spring guide. Just a little kind of a side story here. I was reading the reviews, and it's kind of hard to go wrong with spring guides, right? A lot of people were saying, "Oh, the shaft unscrews from the base." I'm like, "Well, duh, glue it. Put Loctite on the threading, duh." So yeah, I did that. Worked great. So all you guys that wrote reviews on that spring guide, watch this video. It's really not that tough. I'm running a laylax 170 spring. Really nice, strong spring. A lot of the guys on the field who I let try this, about half of them could pull it back, half could not. It's really not that tough. Put your thumb on the bolt when you pull it back and shoulder it, and it really helps. The cylinder head actually is a PPS brand. Never heard of them before. It was on the Airsoft Atlanta site. They're a fantastic company. They're one of the few places in the U.S. that sells a ton of bolt-action rifle parts, so kudos to them for actually keeping a lot of those in stock, thankfully. That's working great. Actually, it has a little O-ring on the nozzle that helps seal it with the bucking, and I got like a 40 FPS jump just installing that. And it's working great. It's got a damper on the front. It uses an O-ring, so that plus a sorbo pad. I think it's working great so far, getting a good seal. My cat is walking by again, and she's unhappy for some odd reason. And that's about it for the bolt assembly. I really didn't do a whole lot to it, just threw a few parts in there just to get the power and the seal I needed and the durability, and it's working so far. The hop-up assembly is the place that I really put the most work into and I think the most money. I totally gutted the hop-up system. Nothing in there is stock anymore. The original one didn't work that great. The most I could use as far as BBs was .3s. I even tried modifying that a little bit, and just it wasn't that consistent. The left and right accuracy was really not that great. It just never had enough hop, and the air seal was so-so. So I ended up using an Action Army hop-up chamber. They're really fantastic. It's basically like taking a CNC aluminum chamber, doing the top-down center mod, but instead of having to drill a hole in the top of your outer barrel, it's got an access port with an Allen key at the just inside the mag well here. So you take your mag out, which for me is still kind of tough, and you put an Allen key in here and you twist it, and it'll either increase or decrease your hop up by pulling this arm down or pushing it up. And it works really, really well. My buddy Tony recommended it to me, and it's worth absolutely every penny. If you're going to go buy a JG Bar10, even if you're just going to leave the stock bucking, barrel, and everything in there, go grab one of those. It's worth it. Fantastic. They run just under $60 too. The bucking I'm using is actually a KM head bucking. I tried 2 other buckings that were recommended, and they both failed for me. So the KM head bucking, I'm using the 55-degree blue. I know it's a little soft for a gun shooting this hot, but soft buckings tend to be more accurate, even if their lifespan is not that great. So it's kind of got a notch in the middle of where the nub is, and it shoots really, really straight. I'm quite happy with it. There's actually a spider that's crawling its way down here in my video. It's kind of funny. Aside from that, like I was saying, I tried a couple of other buckings. I tried a 75-degree maple leaf bucking, and it just wasn't that great. The air seal was not that consistent. I'm pretty sure I got a lemon, because I've got a couple of friends that recommended them to me, and they're both having a great time with them. But the one I got just was not that great. The accuracy was terrible. It didn't hop enough at all. Ugh. And the other one I tried actually was a 9-ball bucking. All the reviews say they're great. I had a buddy of mine try one a long time ago, and we had issues with it. I thought, okay, maybe it's just a lemon. I got another one, and those things are almost 20 bucks a piece, and it didn't work. The air seal was so tight that with a 170 spring in here, it still couldn't push it out consistently. It was getting like 400 FPS using that bucking. I dropped the KM head in here, and I'm getting like a 600 FPS out of it. That's insane. 9-ball, what happened? You guys used to be great, from what I hear. Aside from that, I'm using a KM head 604, the 1950 barrel. It's a Teflon coated barrel. It's 428.5 mil, somewhere around there. It's just a hair shorter than the stock barrel in here by like a millimeter or two. It's working great. It's super, super smooth, actually. When I was doing the barrel spacers in here, I'll talk about that in a second, I had to hold the barrel for a long period of time, and it's really slick, actually, with that Teflon coating. So I'm having a great time with that so far. It's pretty consistent and accurate. And I actually have, with the Action Army chamber, you do have to use a nub. The original chamber, it's got the arm and the 2 teeth that push down, and that's it. But this one, I'm using the maple leaf H-hold nub. It's working great. They're kind of pricey for what they are. They're like $6 for this little speck of rubber. But it's working really well. It's putting enough hop on the BB, and I'm hoping it helps with accuracy. I figure, what the heck. And that's really about it as far as the hop-up and barrel goes. Just a handful of parts, and they seem to work really well together. A bunch of my airsoft buddies have their own builds, and theirs are all working great, so I'm not saying my build's the best. It just works for me, so I'm really happy with it. As far as barrel spacers go, you can go buy the $20 or $30 laylax or PDI barrel spacers. I think it's a complete waste of money doing that. I went down to Harbor Freight actually this morning and picked up electrical tape. Just a roll of electrical tape, 99 cents, really cheap. All you do is wrap the barrel until it's nice and snug, and it's just trial and error. Get 3 or 4 spacers made in there, and you're set. There's your barrel spacers for $1. And all it takes is maybe 10 to 20 minutes tops. If you want to spend 20 bucks and just pop them on, it takes a minute, go for it. But I'd rather save 19 bucks doing that. So just kind of DIY mods doing that. Really, really simple, really inexpensive, and it works well. And of course I took the plastic cap off. I've got a black one on here. This is just, I think it's the original JG one actually. I had a heck of a time installing this. Just getting the original orange cap off. It's glued in, it's pegged in, and it's threaded in. So it was really, really awful getting that out. Once you do, getting this in is not that tough. This is actually a clockwise thread going in. I always assumed it was a counterclockwise, so I was sitting there kind of trying to counterclockwise thread it for like 10 minutes, and it just wasn't working. And I just started clockwise threading, like, I felt so stupid. I guess I didn't touch on the scope here either. This is actually a matrix scope off of Evike, probably just a Chinese brand, I'd imagine. It's a 3.5 to 10 by 40 scope, and it's illuminated as well. I never use the illumination. I never had a need to. I usually leave it on like ×6 or ×8 roughly for sniping, and I zero it right there. So it's pretty consistent out to that distance and that magnification, and I'm pretty happy with it. As far as range and accuracy, it's getting somewhere around 300 feet roughly. I did not take a measuring tape out the other day. I shot in a place I'd shot at maybe a year ago roughly and just kind of gauged it, and I was getting roughly 300 feet, and that's right where I was able to hit like a 1.5 foot wide tree pretty consistently. And so I'm pretty happy with that. If I can hit a tree, I can hit a person. So I'm really quite pleased with that. I really want to try this out on the field. I took it out the other day to the jungle. Let a few people try it. They were pretty impressed and happy with it. And hopefully I'll get the chance to try this out at Paintball Station in Mount Vernon in a week or two, I believe. I think there's a game on the 16th of this month as of filming this video, so 2 weeks from... I don't know. It's about 2 weeks away. Anyway, hopefully I'll use this out there. I intend to get some gameplay footage, and I really hope I have a lot of fun with it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Prodigy from Kilo 23. Hope you guys enjoy your 4th of July. It is the 4th of July, so go shoot some fireworks off, assuming it's legal. If not, shoot them off anyway and have some fun. I'll see you guys later, and I'll see you on the field. Take it easy.